Hey, what up gamers? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Sorry I've been MIA for a while, been busy, moving house and working. You know, all that good adult stuff, which I wish I took advantage of being a kid more when I was younger, all those years ago. Anyway, so today we're looking at a young boy. I call him Rice Maker, okay? But his YouTube name is Hiding in My Room. Yeah. Now, if you've seen this guy's videos, if you're familiar with him, which you probably are, he has a lot of shit takes. And we're going to be looking at one of those shitty takes. Today, he decided to give a hot take on Zelda a while back. And let's just say I'm late to the party, but I'm going to just go in there and throw my 2 cents in anyway, because what the fuck.
Hello, welcome back to a new video. So recently I've been playing the brand new Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and as an avid fan of Zelda games and JRPGs in general, I knew I just had to play this game. Unfortunately, so far it's kind of been bland, boring, uninspiring, and sort of lacking in luster.
Bruh. Like, for real? It sounds like this guy is just like reading off of a fucking script right now. Lackluster and bland. Like, come on. People don't use those words. Thing is, if I'm to give this guy any advice, it would literally be, if you're going to use a script, just don't use a full-fledged script in your videos. If anything, just write some notes that you can just look at and refer to. But anyway, yeah, so this guy's disappointed with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and let's be honest, fucking everyone who I know that has played this game absolutely fucking loves it. Now, me personally, never been a huge Zelda fan. Okay, I never got into it. It's one of those games, just never got into. Alright, I love Pokemon, I like Final Fantasy, I never got into Zelda. Don't know why. I'll never know why. I've tried, to my effort, I've tried playing Breath of the Wild, but yeah, just never got into it.
So I've been playing the game for pretty much all day now, and as of right now, I can't really recommend the game.
Yeah, this guy can never really recommend anything. Like, seriously, this guy did a whole video talking about how inconvenient the Steam Deck is for him because it doesn't fit in his backpack. I'd recommend you watch that video, it's fucking hilarious. If you ever want a drinking game, guys, just literally take a shot every time he mentions backpack. Okay? It's fucking hilarious.
And I feel kind of disappointed with my purchase. Now, when the first game, Zelda Breath of the Wild, came out almost 6 years ago back in 2017, I played that too and finished it, and at the time, it was a really good game. At the time, it was kind of amazing that you could play a game that looked that good and played that well on a handheld device, and I was really blown away with the gameplay and the graphics. But fast forward 6 years later, in 2023, with the sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, I'm not really impressed anymore with this level of graphics. The game looks exactly like the first game, it just looks like they copy and pasted it. The graphics have not improved at all, even though I'm playing on a Switch OLED, which is one of the latest versions of the Switch. It looks exactly the same as the first game almost 6 years ago.
Okay, so there's a couple points here I want to talk about. So the first thing he brought up was the fact that he enjoyed the first game and it was great because the graphics, okay? Yeah, bear in mind, it was one of the showcase games for the Switch, because I think it released with the Switch shortly after. And it came out, yeah, about 6 years ago. The second one is the Switch hardware has never really been that powerful. In fact, I wouldn't even say it's as powerful as the 360, which is quite depressing when you put it like that. The other one I'm going to say is he thinks that they just kind of reskinned it, almost like a DLC. Now, I've heard this argument before, but it's kind of supposed to be a sequel to Breath of the Wild, therefore it will probably have a lot of similarities. There's also a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, again, you're not really making any good points there. If you wanted a completely different Zelda game, there was other Zelda games that are completely different to, say, what it is that Breath of the Wild offers. Now, this is a sequel. Tears of the Kingdom is a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, so obviously it's going to play the same, okay? It's like me playing Knights of the Old Republic 1 and then complaining that Knights of the Old Republic 2 is basically a reskin with a different story. It's the same game series, you know what I mean? That's why Call of Duty has rarely ever changed. It's like why FIFA's never changed. You get me? Like, so that's an invalid criticism. The other point I want to bring forward is you're playing on the Switch OLED. The Switch OLED has literally the exact same hardware as the first Switch that launched. The The only difference it being is the battery power is a bit better and the screen is an OLED screen instead of the LCD thing which they've got on their other two Switches. Now, I don't know if it is an LCD, I could be wrong, so, you know, someone in the comments section is going to correct me, and I'm sorry, I got it wrong. But, yeah, the point I'm trying to make is the fact that you have the latest Switch doesn't really mean fuck all, okay? This isn't the Switch Pro, which everyone keeps talking about. This isn't the Xbox One versus the Xbox One X, okay? Just no, it doesn't work like that, mate. The Switch is just kind of the same thing. And they make so much money, they've outsold the PS4, the Switch has. So the fact that they would improve the hardware, that shit ain't gonna happen. You crazy?
I just find it kind of sad and disappointing that the game has made absolutely no graphical improvements after all of these years, and I guess it's not entirely the game's fault because Nintendo refuses to put out a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro which can handle better graphics, and this is kind of the limitations of the hardware. But come on, it's 2023 now and we have such amazing and powerful handheld devices such as the Steam Deck and the Iron Neo 2 which can play AAA modern games.
The Steam Deck's more powerful. Yet you were going on in your last video about how much better the Switch is than the Steam Deck because it fits in your backpack. Do you remember that argument?
Graphics of Tears of the Kingdom look like they've been drawn by a 5-year-old using a crayon.
It's a fake laugh.
What the fuck? Yo, if that's true, that is a very talented 5-year-old. Hell, that's a fucking genius right there. Fuck is this guy on?
I have to say it is quite nice to hear a bit more voice acting in the game, but unfortunately Link still does not speak. I know it's part of his character that he doesn't speak, but I just find this kind of lazy writing. It's just like, oh, we're going to make this character not speak so we don't have to spend money on a voice actor. It's just kind of hard to connect and relate to the character Link when he doesn't really seem to have much or any personality.
Yeah, but Nintendo mascots are very well known for not having voice actors. Save the exception for Mario, if you want to even call it that. Zelda never had one, Link never had one, fucking Donkey Kong never had one. A lot of them didn't. It's only the newer ones who have actually started to have them. And even then, most of them are adopted, like Bayonetta. Bayonetta's an adopted character because that wasn't a Nintendo exclusive until the second game. Another thing you want to also take into consideration, Splatoon. Splatoon, they don't really have voice actors. It's more or less like gurgling. You know what I mean? Astral Chains has full-on voice acting. Xenoblade Chronicles has full-on voice acting, but those are all later IPs that came out. A lot of their classic ones, like the Marios, like the Zelda, like the Donkey Kong, they're not going to have voice actors. They're just not going to, and it's always been that way. It's more like a tradition. Unless you want to talk about those very, very dark days where those, we don't want to talk about those, okay? That's just drama, PTSD, okay? Traumatized. We don't want to talk about those, where Nintendo licensed their IPs out, and oh boy, yeah. Let's not talk about that. Moving on.
So as for the gameplay, not only are the graphics and the art style of the game exactly the same as the first game,
No shit.
also the gameplay and the combat mechanics and the system for fighting is basically exactly the same as Breath of the Wild. It's like they just basically copied and pasted Breath of the Wild. I don't even know why they call this a sequel.
Gee, I don't know. Maybe because it is a fucking sequel, you dumb fucking rice maker. Jesus fucking Christ. You seem like a smart guy. You're Asian for fuck's sake, so you're definitely smart just by default. Surely you know what the Cambridge Dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary definition is for a sequel. A sequel is a book, a play, or a movie that is based off of the works of an earlier book, play, or movie. Therefore, if you want to, bring it into modern terms, this also applies to video games. Fucking hell. Nigga's got me sitting here giving fucking English literature lessons because he doesn't know what a fucking sequel is. The sequel is supposed to be more or less the same. It's supposed to be familiar to the player, okay? How would you like it if, I don't know, I come along and said, oh, here's the second part to a game and it plays completely different to the first one? No, you want to keep that familiarity because it worked in the first game, and you want to build upon it. That's what a sequel typically does. It builds upon the best part of what made the first game so great. God almighty.
enemies. I just find it a little bit boring fighting against these mindless, soulless robots. I know Nintendo chose this kind of enemy so that it's more child friendly and there's not blood flying everywhere and it's like things dying in pain. It's just like a robot that doesn't feel anything. So I guess I can understand why they chose robots, but as an adult player who likes to be mentally challenged with his video games, I don't really find this game combat very stimulating or engaging.
So you don't like the enemies because they're robots and you don't feel anything for them. You wanted to see blood. Yeah, I think you need to go see a therapist, mate. I've been, you know, maybe you need to talk to someone. I don't know. Might start up a hotline now. That's a great idea. Shall I do that, guys? Shall I start up a hotline where like all these YouTubers can sit down and I can just be like a shrink and talk to them about their inner demons? I could get Malcolm, I could get JTech TV. Hell, I could even get Amazing Lucas on there. That'd be fucking hilarious.
We also have this device which is called a Pudra pad, which basically looks just like a Switch. It's like he has a Switch in the game, which is very strange because I always think of Zelda as a fantasy kind of game set a long time ago where they use bows and arrows and swords and they don't really have electricity, but now he has a Switch which seems like it uses electricity.
Yeah, that's not the only game like that. I know Pokemon's like that as well. They have a Nintendo Switch there as well in your house. It's more like an Easter egg, dude. Like, you just think nothing of it. So, yeah. Again, this guy's just really nitpicking at really dumb shit. And his argument just kind of falls flat. It's like Jenga blocks. You should try playing Jenga, dude. You're Asian, so you're probably good at it. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video today. Yeah, I know I kind of racially abused him a bit, but who cares? I don't. Anyway, if you like the video, you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Do you agree with this guy or do you agree with me? Is this guy an idiot? I think so. Anyway, guys, see you in the next video. Whenever that happens.